All units move in.
When I was a little boy, I watched the police gun down my parents.
Go, 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 go!
I made a promise to myself that I wouldn't stop until I avenged them.
Fall back! Fall back!
And that choice brought me here.
So as you know, on 25 January 1980, MK operatives, MK, that's Umkhonto weSizwe, the original Umkhonto weSizwe operatives, held people hostage to rob a bank. Well, that's how it seemed, basically. It was a hostage raid in Silverton, Pretoria.
True.
And there was a shootout with the police. And this inspired the movie that I told you to watch, or rather that we discussed that you'd be watching and we're looking at today, which is Silverton Siege. So if you can introduce that movie and why you chose that movie, because you mentioned like a historical aspect to it, that's why you chose it.
Yes. Hello, guys. I'm Luthando Magangane, a film student in the University of Cape Town. Thank you so much for having me, Mr. Antini.
The formality is...
Yes. So Silverton Siege is an action and psychological thriller Netflix movie which is directed by Mandla Dube. And he had a part in the film Tsotsi. It's an Oscar award winning
We looked
film.
at Tsotsi with Pumla, actually.
Oh, we see? Yeah.
Okay.
So it has to do with quite a lot of protest and like anti-apartheid. So what happens is the film is basically based about three young freedom fighters who seek refuge in ensuring that they bring South Africa to peace and there's some form of equality. So what they do is they rob a South African bank and they take the customers in what's this, refuge? Customers hostage. Yes, sorry. So, and they'd only release them in order if Nelson Mandela is released from jail. So this is based basically on a true story. So it's a situation that actually happened. It's a siege that happened in Pretoria. I think one of the banks
1980.
1980, yes. One of the banks is False Crust or something like that. So it plays in line on what happened in 1980, but at the same time, it's more of a protest film and an anti-apartheid film for a new generation, which is us. So people that are born, the born frees, yes. So it's for more of the born frees to get a sense or a story on how anti-apartheid was and how protest would go about.
Okay. I giggled earlier because we said they wanted Mandela to be released. And that's not because of the situation, but because I saw a social media post, like yesterday actually, there was someone who was drunk in Pretoria, which is actually the same place where the movie is based. I was drunk and he went on the I don't know which prison it was, but one of the police prisons, and then he would climb the wall at the police station and he demanded that Nelson Mandela must be released.
This
is 2024.
What?
This is 2024. He demanded that Nelson Mandela be released, otherwise he's jumping. So that's why I it reminded me of that post.
No.
But yeah, I stumbled on this film randomly as well, and I wanted to. I was just looking for something local to watch, and that movie Silverton Siege popped up on Netflix, and I'm sometimes skeptical on Netflix local movies that are produced by Netflix. And I can say that I actually quite enjoyed it. I don't know what I was expecting, but I enjoyed from the performances of the actors, from the VFX that was used, the overall set design. I was actually quite impressed. Everything was just proper. Even the story, one of my biggest nitpicks, I don't know what to call them. One of my biggest problems basically with local Netflix production is the writing side of things. And now we have a historical thing, like something based on a historical context, being produced by this international film company. So there's a lot of obviously room for error because they have to cater to a particular type of audience. Yes, we may have local writers and whatever, but it has to still cater
Speak
to
on
the
global context, yes.
And I can say that it did it quite well. And I was researching that the says that Mandla Walter Dube, yes. He said that 60% of the film was actually actual historical. They kept it like factual 60% of the time of the throughout the film, and they didn't. Obviously you need some creative freedom. Of course, it's still a film at the end of the day. It's based on. It's not true events. It's based on true events. But yeah, just with that, it's 75% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is a pretty good rating internationally. IMDb is also like I think 63% or 6 out of 3, 6 out of 10.
Incredible.
Yeah. So yeah, it didn't do bad internationally. It did well locally as well. I believe it did well. So if you haven't watched it, give it a watch. I think it's a very good film to watch. But yeah, I want to talk about like what stood out to you the most in the film.
Clarence, there are so many things that stood out, but I'm glad we have time to speak about this. So I'm okay. I'll be.
Yeah.
But I'll start with the performance. So one thing I've realized about South African films, whether it's in Netflix films or Showmax or SABC and so on, we tend to, and when I say we, I'm talking as filmmakers, directors, writers.
So
the crew basically. We tend to use a cast that's already known. So what entails is that as the audience has been like psychologically, I don't know, we get some sort of bored or, okay, I recognize this character is from Isibaya, so I'm expecting so and so. So you get what I'm trying to say. It has that, it gives you that feeling or that ideas that, okay, I already know how it's going to happen. You're not surprised as an audience. But what I liked about this film, Silverton Siege, is that none of the characters are famous besides, I think it's Tumisho Mashe, or is it someone Mashe, one of the cast?
Is it Thabo, the main
Thabo
Rametse?
No, that's Tumi Rametse. He's not really as big.
Yeah.
Respectfully.
Tumisho Mashaba.
Yes, he's big, but then, just to add some sort of.
I mean, I guess now when we think of film, I guess there's the creative side, but you have to think of the marketing side. Like,
yes.
There's a lot of talented people, but is it going, as a person like on the producing side, is it going to sell? If I put like Luthando, who no one knows in the country right now, as a star of this huge film.
But then again, it's on Netflix, so they
fair.
are obviously, when you open Netflix, there are new watches. When you open, there's obviously new watches. Yeah. And you obviously be more, not concerned, but what's the word?
There are films that I've seen with not popular, like ultra famous actors, which I think were very good, and it's local films. It's also on, some of them are on Netflix, but yeah, if you stick around, we'll be discussing those ones as well. But I get what you're saying. Like it was not like a high profile,
yes, true
movie, but like it still held its own.
And the casting is so amazing. So most of the people that are within the film are actually either black or white. So when I say white, I'm talking about Afrikaans, because you know how...
You had to put that H there, the white.
Yes. So you know how apartheid was usually the black people against the Afrikaners. So it opens up more intrigueness in a way. So I'm more intrigued to watch the film because, black versus white, and that's something that we still deal with again today. And that's another thing I wanted to talk about how this film still touches base on topics and events that still occur in the now, in 2024.
And then while you're saying this, there was a character, I forgot her name. She was white passing.
Albino, right?
Yes, she was white passing.
Yes.
And then she had suppressed the black side.
Musalek, yes.
Until like the heat of the situation was like so intense she couldn't do it anymore.
That's exactly where I was trying to go, Clarence, is that we're facing issues like that today where people will tend to side with the superior, in a sense, seen as the white people, right? Until the truth reveals itself. You get what I'm trying to say? And you're not forced but to side with the actual truth.
So like the pressure gets to you until
the pressure gets worse. Yes.
And I think though I like her addition as a character because it was a subtle thing of like, okay, yes, it happened in the past, but like you saying this is for the new age, born free freedom fighters, or I don't even know how to package it, but like for us in the new generation, it was still issues that is still being faced today in society. We have a lot of I don't want to say the racial ambiguous. Like I know I want to talk about like one of my co-hosts in like UCT radio. She's always mentions like apartheid is over. Yes, her parents, she's mixed race. She's not necessarily white passing, but like she still experiences some of the problems that I guess like the identity problems of like which side do I side with? Do I side with the closer side? Do I side with the white side? Like there's a lot of identity crises that follow that the decisions that were made by parents, or not by parents, but like the decisions that the old government enforced, basically. So like the whole thing, like we can't marry across races, and then that brought about particular stigmas.
Those acts,
a lot of things that made so many things difficult, and made it difficult for someone with like two different identities to exist properly. And I think it does that well. And then the fact that this is happening in like such a stressful situation, and she's dealing with this at the same time, is like, I think it draws like a nice parallel of like, okay, this is like so real for her.
And that's exactly why I liked Silverton Siege. So in the beginning, you can obviously see this is an amazing film. It's about action. You know, you're kept aware. You're not really educated on what's happening up until you get to like the main scenes where the Afrikaners start terrorizing or bullying people of color. And that's when it changes from an action to a psychological thriller where we are educated as the new generation on the occurrences that happens. And I like this film because at the same time, some of us, including myself, we're not really a book and pen type of person to study, you know. We like to see things visually. So that's one of the amazing film. That's one of the things I can say about Silverton Siege that I can congratulate them on, especially Mandla Dube, is that he did so well in captivating the audience, in educating the audience on the anti-apartheid and the protest. And this was obviously done also with the production design. I know I was supposed to talk about the film and producing, but I'm going to go to production design as well and the production of things. But even the cars that were used, you can see these are cars that
they paid attention to I'm glad, and
the language used as well. That's another thing. So there's some sort of English. There was Zulu involved. There was also, I think, Tswana and Pedi, and then
which
obviously
is
Africa.
True to the area.
Yes, true to the area. Those are South African languages. You see, so it also attracts the certain target audience, and as well as audience from global perspective.
I mean, it did receive like a lot of global recognition, I guess.
True.
So I guess it caters for the right people. And I want you, as you're speaking now, yes, the bank robbery was the whole premise
to draw us in. Yes.
But and as we're talking, I realize we're not even talking about the big action scenes, the bank robbery, the shooting. It was the little stories that we can find inside within the bank itself, within the hostages, within the characters interacting with each other, and we see like, oh, this is how things were. The dynamics are very properly like written. Like, okay, we can see, okay, this is how this character is, and it's a representation of this group, and not necessarily stereotyping, but like it's a good way to like just write the relationships that were back then. And I think Mandla, like you said, Mandla did a good job on that. The whole team did a good job on that. And I was worried about, in terms of production, you mentioned production design, and I realized that to digitally create, I guess, some stuff. Like the surrounding areas, they had to obviously remove some things, and I was actually impressed. I was very impressed with how they did that. But now I want to just look at the character. It's played by the Unokolo Dlamini Mbali.
She's
Tera.
one of the
robbers.
The robbers, yes.
I think they called her Tera the whole time, right? Tera,
yes.
But Mbali. And she got shot, but the performance was amazing. But I just want to like look at that character.
So Tera is I think he's in love with one of the not refugee men.
The bank hostages.
The bank hostages, yeah. And what for me as an audience, we are so attracted towards Tara because of how hard she wants to fight for freedom and how hard she wants to fight for peace within her country. And you could see that she wanted, there was at a moment where she wants to shoot the white guy. I don't know whether this was the pastor or
I don't remember which. But I remember the moment. But like one of the white guys there,
and that's why there was some sort of not disattachment but split between the group.
So that you're saying that's what you think caused because there was a rift towards the end.
That's the climax basically on what caused the split. And I think as the audience, we are attached to the main character, which is Rametsi.
Is it Kalushi?
Yes, him and Tara. Because
I feel bad about Tara. Like they're disappointed. I feel like she was the most disadvantaged
because she was willing to fight for this, and she felt as if we are going to win this. However, you get Rametsi who coincided, or shall I say, worked with and cooperated with the police.
And like the reason again she got shot also in the end. And I'm like she's the only one who was like, okay, I see the vision, let's do it. I'm all in, and then the others are just halfway in, or like they have other plans. And that was just the sad thing with her. And in a way, I guess it represents the greater majority of people that believe in something, and then the people can change.
That's how you evoke an emotion from the audience. You need to have that one character that stands out. Yes, Kalushi was
the main character,
but you need a character that's going to emotionally be attached towards a character, and feel some sort of remorse or empathy. And Tara was one of those people.
And she, like, Nokolo did a very good job in terms of like portraying that character. And now just basically, I know we just rambling a bit of thoughts, and again, because of that, we don't have a lot of time.
Yes.
I just wanted like your overall comment, I guess, on the film. Like you did mention like the historical side, the new generation like having something to look at and learn, like this is the history that happened. So just overall comment on the film.
I feel like again, it seems like I'm going back to the director and how I'm just praising the director, but I studied him quite a lot, Mandla Dube. So when I'm looking at this film, it's in close context, or say close relation towards Sarafina and all those films. I know Sarafina is a different genre, but then when you look at the film, the message as well, it's in a political context. It's historical. It's about anti-apartheid. So I think that's a message that was beautifully put through by Mandla Dube, and I think there's so much to learn, not just in the narrative, but also historically. So when obviously as kids, and I encourage anyone who hasn't watched Silverton Siege, please do just watch the film, especially if you're from high school and you're doing history. This would help quite a lot in terms of historical context.
It's still a film. Keep in mind, do the research after.
Do the research after that, but it's going to help someone broaden their mind within the aspects that happened in South Africa during the apartheid.
And I think, it's a perfect way to just park it here for now. But again, this is a very limited time, so we can just touch on things fast. But I'm extending an invitation for you that when we have the means to do longer deep dives and analysis of this, or analyzing different films, I'm inviting you to come back to the Cinephile studio, the potential Cinephile studio, where we can just look at more films and just educate the youth and see how these films tie in with our lives.
Who knows, I'll come with more anti-apartheid films.
We have Luthando here as our fighter, one of the most. Yes. But for now, thank you very much for joining me, Luthando. I hope to have a longer conversation with you.
Yes, thank you.
Great today.
Thank you so much, Clarence, for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Very confusing time in life.
And then you also see later on near the end of the movie how the little girl also volunteers to save the pregnant woman.
It's quite
a heavy movie to watch as well.